Hello, it's Sonia here at The Pretty Stitch. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, I'm so happy to have you here. So today we are going to continue our series of how to crochet. So this is lesson number 3. We are actually going to start doing a crochet stitch. So you can see I am using one of my recommended sizes, an I hook or 5.5 millimeter hook, and I have worsted weight yarn in a light color. And we need to get started here. We're going to learn how to make a single crochet, and we need to start off with our chain. So we're going to get more practice with chaining. So let's make our slip knot first. As I said, we're going to make that X. So you always need to get your slip knot on your hook. And now we're ready to chain. So for this lesson, why don't we chain 7? So we have our loop on our hook. I'm going to yarn over and make one chain. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we have our 7 chains here. So what we want to do is we are going to be working in the second chain from our hook. So if you remember from the previous lesson, let me grab a tinier hook, so my pointer hook, you can find it, here we go. All right, so if we're looking at our chains, this is the front of our chain. There's the back with those ridges that I talked about. So let's look at our chains again. So to work in the chain, there are different ways of working in the chain. You can work at the top leg of the V. So I talked about the V's on the side of your chain. So here is one V, or one leg of your V, and then here is the bottom leg, and then poke it through the center. Now, my preferred method when I'm working in my chain is to insert my hook right above that bottom leg, right through there. So then you actually, if you turn it over, you're going to see there's 2 loops. But some people prefer to work in their chain in just that top loop there. Either way is fine, unless the pattern states to work in a specific chain. Most patterns don't, but sometimes they do. Sometimes the pattern will say you need to work in the chain this way, and there's usually a reason for that. So if you're following a pattern, you want to do what it says. All right, so let's get started to stitch here. So that's why I said before, you need to know how your stitches are made up. So you understand that your components of your chain, then that all made sense to you, hopefully. All right, so to start off with, you have your loop on your hook. Again, you want to make sure your loop is snugly around your hook, but not too snug. You want to be able to move it back and forth easily. And we are working in the second chain from your hook. So we're going to skip that first chain right here. So that's the one closest to the hook. We're working on the second one. So I have my thumb covering up the rest of these so that you can kind of see this is where we need to work. And I am going to insert my hook right above that bottom leg of the V, just like that. So you can see it's looks like 2 loops, but it's really, we're going to count it as 1 loop. But if you just want to work on the top leg of your V, right here, you can certainly do that too. But again, I learned this way, and it's just how I've learned 20 years, so it's kind of hard to do it the other way for me. So we have these 2 loops in our hook, and we need to work our stitch. So here is our yarn. We're going to yarn over, so in the front, crossing it over to the back. And I'm just using my finger to kind of anchor that on there. But I mean, you'll have your own style. This is just how I like to do it. And so this yarn over is going to catch under that hook, and we're going to pull this middle guy, these 2 middle guys, or one middle guide, depending how you worked, over that hook. So we're going to have that yarn over catch. We're going to pull that over like that. And now we have 2 loops in our hook. We're going to yarn over again, back to front to back, and we're going to pull through both of those over the hook. So that yarn over is going to catch, and now we have created 1 single crochet stitch. So let's do another one. So let's insert our hook in that V. As I said before, I like to do it right above that bottom leg of the V. So right in there, I work my yarn over. Now if you're having trouble, you can use your thumb and index finger until you get the hang of the stitch. So if you have your yarn over, you can grab that middle section there, have that yarn catch under your hook, pull it over, so you can see the tension is all off when you're doing it like that. So what you'll want to do, because you don't want that loosey-goosey, just tighten that a little bit. And now we need to work off the other 2 loops. Yarn over, let that guy catch, and then pull those other 2 over your hook. We have created 2 single crochet. So work in that chain, insert your hook in that chain, yarn over, let that guy catch, pull over that middle section, then yarn over again, pull through those 2 loops. And we're just going to continue that across our chain here. So I'm at my last chain here, so right above that bottom loop, poke that hook through, yarn over, complete our stitch. So you can see there's a little gap there. What I like to do is you can just slide that with your thumb and index finger just to cinch it up a little bit, just to neaten it up. And now we have created our very first row of single crochet. So once you've created stitches, it's pretty easy to count them. So let me get out my little pointer hook here. So we are going to learn about the single crochet stitch. So yes, it might seem tedious, but as I said before, this is learning how to read your work. Once you understand how the stitch is supposed to look, that's really going to help you with your projects and making sure that your work is nice and neat, and pick out any mistakes if you've made any. Alright, so let's look at our single crochet stitches here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We chained 7, but we have 6 stitches because we skipped that first chain. So if you're looking at the top of the stitches, you can see it kind of looks like a chain. You can see it looks like there's the V's, so here's one leg, and here's the other leg. So these are the tops of your stitches, and that's an easy way to count your stitches. So if you're holding your work and you're looking down, you can easily count them. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if you're holding your work like this is the front of the stitch, and the single crochet is a shorter, more compact stitch. You can see it looks like little V's that are standing up. So here is one leg here, here is the other leg there. And that is your single crochet stitch, and then at the bottom here, this is that bottom chain that we worked above here. And sometimes you do work on the other side of the chain in projects, so it's important to know about that too. And that is row 1 of your single crochet. This would be your foundation row when you're starting off with the chain, because you're not going to work this row the same for other rows. So now we need to work row 2. We got to build off of this. So what you want to do is we are going to chain 1. So just work a chain, so yarning over, chain 1. Now you're going to see something if you're following a pattern. It's going to say turn or turn your work. And what that means is you're just flipping it over to the other side. So I've chained one, flip it over. This is the other side of your crochet stitch, or your single crochet. So it looks a little bit different. One side is not really the wrong side or the right. I mean, it depends on the pattern, but either side is fine. This is the way what it looks like on the other side. And then this is the side that you saw when you just finished making it. So we are turning our work. Again, you want to be mindful that you don't want this loop real loose. Just tighten that guy up. So now we need to work across these stitches. So it's really simple. So as I said before, you turn it this way, you can see the top of the stitch. What you're going to do is insert your hook underneath this V. So right in here, see, you can see that hook is underneath that V is where you want to insert your hook to work your single crochet stitch for row 2. So let's get started. So we're going to work in that first one here. So this is that first stitch. So there's one leg of the V, there's the other. We're going to insert our hook right under those guys. So just poke it through like that. And then you're going to continue and work the stitch like you did for row 1. Yarn over, let that guy catch, pull that middle section through. You have 2 loops, yarn over again, pull through the remaining 2. So there's your first stitch for row 2. So you're just going to continue across right under that V, yarn over. Now as you can see, my yarn overs aren't big and exaggerated. I was showing you that so you can see, but as you get going, you don't have to do that. You might want to shorten your movements, and it makes your work go faster. And again, make sure your loop is not too tight on your hook, but that it can wiggle back and forth easily, but is still snug on there. So underneath that V, yarn over, pull through the remaining 2, and you can do that all the way across. So you can see, like when I put my hook through, I'm already completing my yarn over at the same time. Again, this is years and years of experience, so that might not happen for you right away. It's okay. So insert your hook, yarn over, and then there's that last stitch. So we had 6 stitches. You want to make sure you have 6 stitches for row 2. So you can count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what you want to do for the rest of however many rows you want to work for this swatch is you're just going to repeat row 2. So let me get my loop on there. So it's nice and snug on my hook, but I can still move it back and forth easily. So we are going to chain 1, turn our work. Boom, turned. So now we're going to work in that first stitch underneath that V, put your hook in there, yarn over, and then continue working the stitch for row 3. Now when you are working a pattern, and if it's single crochet, some patterns will have a right side or a wrong side, so just keep that in mind. So we could say all odd rows are the right side. So this is an odd row, this is row 3. So this would be our right side. So let's chain 1 and turn, we'll work row 4. So then this would be the wrong side, because it's an even row. So I chained 1, just getting right in there, working that single crochet row. And you're just going to want to repeat row 2, like I said before, for however long you want your swatch. Okay, so that is how you work single crochet. So if you are done working your swatch and you want to finish off or cut your yarn, I do not want to cut this yarn, but I'm going to kind of simulate it here. It's very simple. You're going to snip right there, and then you're going to feed this longer piece through your loop and just pull it, and then that'll cinch it. If you don't do that, see, it'll unravel, and you don't want that. But I want to keep using this yarn. I don't want to have like little balls of yarn, so I'm not going to cut. But some people don't know how to do that. So project will say cut yarn or finish off. finish off means the same thing. Snip. Now some projects might say you want to leave a long tail, so what that means is this is your tail. So it might say I want you to leave 12 inches. You know, that's about 12 inches, so you would pull it out till it's about that long, cut it, and then you're going to just feed that tail through there, and then pull it, and then you're all set. And your project is, well, they say finish off. It's almost finished off because you would still need to take care of this shorter tail here. So just repeat, as I said before, row 2 for however long you want your swatch, and you can choose to cut your yarn if you would like, or you don't have to. So I hope you enjoyed this little lesson here, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.